Hello, beautiful and lovely young Lalaine. I'm making this video here on early Sunday morning. It's a beautiful day today. I had this T-shirt made right here, and it's got my dad's Navy picture on it. You can see, and you know, my dad, he was my very best friend, and he recently passed away. And you know, even though he's passed away and he's not physically with me anymore, I mean, he's still my very best friend, and he's still in my heart. And you know, Lalaine, one of the most important things a person can do is take good care of, love, and cherish their parents. And I hope I did an all right job on that. And you know, even though my parents are in heaven, they're still with me in my heart. And you know, Lalaine, one thing about my dad is he was always trying to encourage me to read the book Walden Pond by Henry David Thoreau. And you know, I browsed through it, but I didn't read it from cover to cover like he did. And you know, my dad, he was really into you know, studying philosophy and logic, and you know, he's a smart fella. And you know, one thing, Lalaine, about the study of philosophy, if you look at history, there seems to be a correlation to how much people are into theater and how much they're into philosophy. Like if you go back to the ancient Greeks, for example, I mean, they were heavy into philosophy and logic, as well as the fact that they were heavy into theater. And there's this one philosopher. His name is Paul Feyerabend. And the thing about him is, I think he wrote a book called Against Method or something like that. But anyways, he started off as an actor. And when he got into studying philosophy, he found out that he progressed by far ahead of any of the other students. I mean, he just really took to it easily. And he attributed it to the fact that he was in theater. He started off as an actor, and he was experiencing theater. He says that when you're reading scripts and you're going about the process of acting and stuff, it conditions your mind to be very open to philosophical thought. And you know, Lalaine, I do think there's a correlation. A person who has a lot of experience in theater or acting would just take the philosophy and logic very easily. And I don't know if you've ever done any reading on philosophy and logic, but you know, I greatly encourage you to do so, because not only because of the fact that you have plenty of acting experience, but also, Lalaine, you're multilingual, and anyone who is multilingual has to be able to perceive the different logical progressions of different kinds of languages, because you know, each language has its kind of own sentence structure and everything. And I think that you put the fact that your acting career with the fact that you're multilingual together, your mind is probably conditioned to be able to grasp philosophical thought way better than most people. And Lalaine, believe me, I think if you got into studies of philosophy and logic, that you would surprise yourself and surprise everybody in just how well you'll take to it. You know, and I got a great deal of faith for you to be able to succeed in that. And you know, Lalaine, I remember hearing that you wanted to write a book one day. And I hope you write many books. I hope you become a great and renowned author. And one of the best ways to you know, prepare yourself to be a great author is a study on philosophy and logic. So you know, I really encourage you to do that. And a book that I have to suggest for you. And this is a book I got from my dad. And I did read this book through and through, over and over, took notes on it. Really good book. And this is a book called Clear Thinking. And it's by a man named Hy Richella. And very unusual name. His first name is spelled H-Y. You know, and his last name is R-U-C-H-L-I-S. And this book, Clear Thinking, it's an older book, but it's all about traditional logic. And you know, you get some of these books on like modern logic, for example. I mean, unless you're like into digital computer programming, I mean, they're just completely impractical, because you get like modern logic. It talks about things like Bayesian probability and trying to apply all kinds of mathematical formulas to logical procedure, and that's just completely impractical for day-to-day logic. And also, it's not exactly really applicable to the study of philosophy. So, you know, Lalaine, this book is by far better than most of the other books on logic. It's a really good one. It's easy to read, really fun to read. The guy has a good sense of humor. And also, there's a whole bunch of funny cartoons in here, a lot of funny cartoons. I really like this book. I really enjoyed it. I've been reading it over and over ever since I was a kid. So I think you'd really enjoy taking a look at it. And Lalaine, one thing I want to emphasize is, don't you think that just because you're a woman, you can't be good at the studies of philosophy and logic. Because one of the last great philosophical thinkers in the ancient world was a woman named Hypatia, and she was the daughter of Theon of Alexandria. And she was a renowned philosopher, and she is very skilled at logic, as well as a good mathematician. So that goes to prove you, a woman can be just as good at philosophy and logic as a man. In fact, I think it was the Queen of Sweden, or actually I think she was actually referred to as the King of Sweden, because for some reason in Sweden you always refer to your ruler as king, even if it's a woman. But anyways, this Queen of Sweden, if I remember right, she like gave up her throne and everything like that, and she went and devoted her life to the study of logic. And she was a very charitable person, did things that helped people, and just really special, nice, decent person, you know. So there's been multiple examples of women in history that have been very skilled at logic. I know. I was watching this one goofy movie with my dad, and there was a woman up there she was playing the part of the confrontational feminist, right? And this woman was going on about how men are always so logical, but women are more holistic and in tune with the underlining flow of the universe. I mean, it's so stupid, I mean, there have been plenty of women who have been brilliant in the areas of philosophy and logic. And not only that, but there's this stereotype that only white males exceed in logic, and that's a bunch of bunk. Because you get, like, for example, the classical Greeks were heavy into logic, but many of their views actually are traced back to India. Because you see, going back to Thales and Pythagoras, Greek philosophers used to travel to India because, the Middle Eastern peoples have a very very holistic, very analog kind of language. It was very the Middle Eastern peoples, like the Hebrews, for example, have a very fluid way of perceiving things, which does not really, and their language is very difficult for the Greeks to understand. But the Indians, on the other hand, were culturally very similar to Greeks, believe it or not, and so the Greeks were very impressed by them. So going back to the earliest Greek philosophers, they used to travel all the way to India. And they picked up a lot of the concepts that the Indians had, as well as the fact that you go into ancient China. I mean, you get like the many of the Taoists, and also the of course it's the classical Taoists. Modern Taoists are kind of wishy-washy, crazy kind of cultic types. but the classical Taoists, and also the Moists that were started by a man named Mozu, if I remember right. I think that's how you pronounce his name. Mozu, who lived in the 4th century BC. Highly logical people. So, I mean, the idea that logic is something only for white men is a bunch of bunk, And Lalaine, I heard that you, I've heard that you wanted to be an author and everything. I really hope that you go through with that. And I think, all the experiences in your life, Lalaine, whether it has to do with the fact that you're multilingual, or the fact that you have experience in acting, and all the good experiences you've had and all the bad experiences you had. The good things you've done, the mistakes you made, I think that God has used all of those things in order to sculpt who you are today. And I want to strongly emphasize, I hope you do become an author, Lalaine. Even if it's, starting off with, like, children's books or writing scripts for plays or something. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. And Lalaine, I just hope that one day you will pursue a career as a writer. I think that because of who you are, the experiences that you've had in your life, I mean the good and the bad, that God has used those to sculpt you into being a very special person. And I think there's just something very special about how you perceive things. And I really, really, truly believe in you, Lalaine. I think you have unlimited potential in your life. And, I strongly encourage you to study up on philosophy and logic, because, that will help you be a better author. And I want to emphasize, Lalaine, I pray for you every single day. I think you're a beautiful and wonderful human being, and with unlimited potential. And once again, happy birthday, Lalaine. This June 3rd, you're going to be 23, and very young woman, a whole life ahead of you. And once again, I pray for you, and I really believe in you, and God bless you. Beautiful and lovely Lalaine.
P.S. Beautiful Lalaine, my church is having a Memorial Day picnic at the Boron Park. If by any chance you're interested, you're invited. Talk to you later, beautiful and lovely Lalaine. God bless you, and happy birthday.